This Family Life News podcast is made possible by the support of listeners like you.
Next on the 5 o'clock report.
The average citizen is not adept to seeing this sort of carnage.
I look forward to taking you on and to whooping you.
People in our state are sick of New York. They don't want the crazy of California. Our voters do not want socialism.
It's every kid our age's dream, just to be here.
Probably a good 100 miles from land in any direction.
Now, let's go to the newsroom.
Good afternoon and welcome to the broadcast. I'm Family Life News anchor Sarah Harnish. We begin with breaking news out of the Finger Lakes. There has been a bus versus dump truck crash in the town of Hopewell in Ontario County, New York. Several people were life flighted.
Multiple emergency entities have responded to this. LifeNet, Mercy Flight West out of Batavia, Canandaigua Emergency Squad, Mercy Flight, EMS, Finger Lakes Ambulance.
Police say the bus entered Route 488 in the path of the dump truck.
The bus was struck in the driver's side passenger area. The bus was carrying 6 passengers. 1 passenger is deceased at the scene. 4 other passengers on the bus suffered serious injuries. All of them have been now transported to Strong Memorial Hospital.
Police are asking drivers to avoid the area. 488 Fresh Hour Road, Ontario County, for again a bus versus dump truck crash in Hopewell, New York. President Trump held a pop-up press conference outside the White House this afternoon on the price of gas. He says the cost has stayed lower because the United States is in control of the Strait of Hormuz.
One of the reasons that oil hasn't gone to like the proverbial $300 a barrel, it's at 83, 84, 85. And it'll be a lot lower when this is over because we have plenty of oil. But one of the reasons it never went to the 3 and 350 numbers because we have a lot coming in.
Gas is averaging $4.13 a gallon in New York and $4.07 a gallon in Pennsylvania. The president just announced his pick to lead the Food and Drug Administration. Her name is Heidi Overton, and she's a loud pro-life advocate.
Pregnancy resource centers are there as a resource for you. Every American has access to these resources that we can welcome life.
Overton, a top White House aide, has worked on some of the president's second-term health projects like the Most Favored Nation deals to lower the cost of prescription drugs. She still has to be confirmed by the Senate and would replace Dr. Marty Makary, who resigned in May. It was a shocking win for Democratic socialism last night. The radical left picked up a victory in Florida's primary, highlighting again infighting over what is a Democrat. Democrat socialist and state representative Angie Nixon winning in double digits over establishment Democrat Alex Vindman. She'll now face Republican Senator Ashley Moody. Nixon wasted no time calling out her opponent.
I look forward, Ashley Moody, to taking you on and to whooping you in November, and you will be calling me your senator.
In the governor's primary, Congressman Byron Donalds topped a crowded field to win his party's nomination. He was on Fox News today giving his thoughts on democratic socialism in the red state of Florida.
8 years ago, the Democrats had a 300,000 voter advantage in this state. And today, under the leadership of Ron DeSantis, Florida has moved to a state with 1.5 million more Republicans than Democrats. The people in our state are sick of New York. They're sick of Chicago. They don't want the crazy of California. And that's why the Angie Nixon ticket, that's going to be a disaster for Democrats because our voters do not want socialism.
Donald says the people of the Sunshine State will draw a big red X across democratic socialism come this November.
And that's before you even start talking about Cubans in the state of Florida, Venezuelans in the state of Florida. They fled communist regimes. They fled tyranny of socialism. They do not want that here in our state. So we believe that we're going to be very successful this November.
People in Indiana still don't have power a week after storms rolled through.
We understand we're not the only ones to be affected by this terrible storm.
However, we still have 3/4 of our population without power.
Griffith City Council President Rick Rifa says the lights went out almost a full week ago amid continuous rounds of thunderstorms. Indiana has more rain on tap today. The Deep South is sizzling. Real feel conditions of 115 are expected today for millions from Texas to Florida and all points in between.
The humidity's the killer.
And I just feel the sweat just rolling down my back.
70 million are under heat advisories and warnings. It is so hot in Texas that some high schools are holding football practice in the morning before the sunrise. And as students head back to school, a new report shows hundreds of Christian schools are in danger of closing. Fundraising strategist Van Myler tells Family Life why preserving these institutions of higher learning matters so much.
Christian colleges offer a way to understand your calling and understanding how your faith works with that.
He says for students interested in attending a Christian college,
don't choose a university merely because Christian appears in the marketing materials, right? Visit. Ask how faith is integrated into the academics. At the same time, I would be asking, what is the graduation rate? What do graduates do afterward? Are enrollment numbers growing or declining? And what is the institution investing in for the future?
More than 400 Christian schools could shut their doors within 10 years. Today in America, there are nearly 2.5 million fewer students enrolled in college than there were at the start of the last decade. Still to come on the 5 o'clock report, bus crash in Ontario County. We've got more updates, new rules for data centers, and the Glock block, a new Second Amendment lawsuit in New York. But first, a check of weather. All right, Kevin, checking the stories making news where you live across New York and Pennsylvania. Recapping our top story, 4 are injured and 1 dead after a dump truck versus bus crash happened 4 miles outside the town of Canandaigua in the Finger Lakes on 488 in Hopewell. That's in Ontario County. The police just wrapped up a press conference in the last hour.
The average citizen is not adept to seeing this sort of carnage and tragedy occur in front of them, so they're very excited. Multiple people are calling in at the same time.
We know it was not a school bus that was in that crash. Police say the response was extensive.
We were taking reports that people were hanging out the windows of the bus, so it naturally elicited massive response from law enforcement. The Canandaigua and Hopewell Fire Departments and EMS are close, so everybody gets there pretty expeditiously, and it's been a massive response up there.
No word yet on the cause of the crash, but police say the bus crossed into the path of the dump truck. They say they'll be doing toxicology tests to see if alcohol or drugs were involved. We told you yesterday that Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro had created a rule book for new data centers in the Commonwealth. Today, we're learning the rules. Shapiro is enacting what he calls the strictest guardrails in the country for the development of AI data centers.
We have seen an unacceptable number of speculative proposals for data center development that is swamping our Commonwealth.
He signed an executive order requiring data centers supply their own power, and a significant portion of that power must come from renewable energy sources like wind or solar.
AI data center developers who want to do business in our Commonwealth must respect our communities and abide by these stringent requirements. And if they can't agree to do that, well, they should stop considering Pennsylvania as a home.
Data center developers must also pay their own electricity bills. The governor says there's no passing that on to consumers. A month after a devastating fire heavily damaged a popular upstate farmers market, the business is carrying on and looking toward the future. Flames caused heavy damage to Bauman's Farm Market and Greenhouse in July, but Daniel Bauman tells WROC they're still doing business alongside the damaged portions.
Trying to move forward as well. We're getting plans in place for what we want to do in the future, what this might look like, later this year and as well as next year.
The cause of the fire remains under investigation. Gun groups are suing over a New York law they say effectively bans a popular Glock. Lawmakers included a provision in this year's budget designed to crack down on handguns that criminals are converting to automatic weapons. But gun rights advocates say it also bans the sale of a popular pistol carried by many NYPD officers. They filed suit claiming the Second Amendment. Governor Kathy Hochul says she'll fight it. If fall seems to be coming early for some trees in your area, it's not your imagination. Here's Family Life's Mark Webster.
Yeah, the sound of crumpled leaves beneath your feet isn't typical for August, but it's been happening around sections of New York and Pennsylvania, especially among deciduous trees such as maple, oak, and sycamore. A DEC forestry expert says it's because drought and other stressors can cause leaves to change color and fall earlier than usual. Beyond the hot, dry weather, there's also fungus among us, tar spot and anthracnose in particular, which spread more readily under these conditions. Mark Webster, Family Life News.
It is opening day for the Little League World Series in Williamsport, Pennsylvania. 10 teams are from the United States and 10 from around the world. The players told WNEP they're ready.
It's just really magical, and it's every kid our age's dream just to be here. And I'm really glad to fulfill that dream for us.
It feels great. I mean, I watched it when I was growing up, and just to be here, it's really good.
Latin America took on the Caribbean in the first game this afternoon. Next at 5, valuing girls the way that Jesus values them. Our own Martha Manikas Foster interviewed writer and photographer Dorothy Little Greco about how to build healthy self-perception in your girls at home.
Girls are often raised to be pretty. They're raised to look nice. That was true for me. I never once heard, I love that you're sensitive. I love that reading is important to you. I love that you take such good care of your pets. Everything was tied to appearance. So we're trained to, in some ways, perform, to look pretty, to act obediently, to not raise our voices, to not cause trouble. I compare the average model's height, weight, and body type with the average female. And we know who we see on our screens does not match up to the typical American woman. And the American women, we know when we fall short.
Little Greco's advice, she says, how you speak at home and what you say about yourself has a huge impact on the daughters that you raise. You can hear this entire interview by clicking on Inside Out on the Family Life app at Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Spotify, and at familylife.org.
Success can be a gift from God, but it can also reveal what's happening in our hearts. Hi, I'm Rob West with another Faith and Finance Minute. King Saul began with humility, but over time, success gave way to pride and self-protection. In 1 Samuel 15, after disobeying the Lord, Saul went to Carmel and set up a monument for himself. That's a warning for every steward. God may entrust us with work, wealth, influence, or opportunity, but those gifts were never meant to become monuments to ourselves. The question is not simply, have I succeeded? But what is my success serving? Saul built a monument to himself, but we're called to something better, to use every gift, every dollar, every open door for the glory of God and the good of others. Discover the best Christian financial articles, podcasts, and videos by visiting our website, faithfi.com, or by downloading FaithFi, Faith and Finance from your app store.
Finally, at 5, no one knows how to get away from it all, quite like Matt Rutherford. The seasoned sailor from Maryland is trying to become the first man to solo circumnavigate the Arctic Ocean. He tells NPR,
I'm probably a good 100 miles from land in any direction. I am north of western Russia, a considerable way. So when you look out, it's just waves as far as the eye can see, and it's gray skies, a little bit foggy, typical Arctic weather.
Not only is his 10,000 nautical mile journey long, it's also hazardous because of all the ice.
It becomes extremely difficult to get any sleep because if you hit the ice, you essentially die. The Titanic was made of steel, but it didn't help it out very much.
And if he doesn't sail fast enough, pack ice will eventually freeze his boat in place. But, says the sailor, this wouldn't be an adventure if we knew the ending. And that's the world that we live in for Wednesday, the 19th of August. I'm Sarah Harnish, and this is Family Life News.
Thank you for listening to this Family Life News podcast. If you've been encouraged by what you've heard, please share it with others and click the subscribe button to automatically receive future episodes. Family Life is a listener-supported ministry. Podcasts like this are made possible by your financial partnership. Find out more at familylife.org.